Now I've made multi six figures with what you guys call freelance brand scaling. Throughout my journey, I've genuinely probably made every single mistake in the book that you can possible. I've had shitty sales calls, onboarded people but didn't know how to run the service, didn't understand what a good ad was, signed loads of bad clients because I wanted to have loads of clients but they just didn't convert. And in this video, I'm going to talk about everything I went through and how you guys can pretty much avoid that yourself. So I'm going to show you all the stuff that worked, all the stuff that didn't work, and everything that got me exactly to where I am now. So before the term freelance brand scaling was even a thing, what I ran was an organic agency. Now, pretty much what I was doing was TikToks, Reels, any form of social media marketing that was under the organic umbrella term. Best believe I was doing it. Now, the big reason why I pivoted from organic to paid, fast forward back to, when I'm running my organic agency, that was a crazy story in itself. We're going to dive into that in this video. Everything that I went through that was bad, how I built a good, clear, consistent business that I then turned into obviously what it is today, which is a paid ad agency. Pretty much the whole process of, getting the client is the same. You're sending out these DMs, you're sending out those emails, you're pitching your service. Ultimately, it's the exact same. Now, getting my first client was arguably probably the hardest thing that I've ever fucking done. I was sending out 100 DMs a day, 99% of the time. I was not getting a single reply. Now, the biggest thing that I noticed at the time, and I'm gonna put one of my outreach messages right here. This is so long, right? You never wanna enter someone's DM writing war and peace like this, right? Waffling off. You need to be clear, concise, straight to the point. That probably took me a year and a half to even learn, right? But that was a big learning curve, is the quality of the outreach matches the quality of the client that is going to respond. Now, when I obviously started running paid ads, I had that agency kind of, base to work with, right? Let's say. So the main thing that happened for me was this is so embarrassing to admit, but I got a lot of clients on at the start. But the worst part was I didn't have my skill set developed enough to deliver for these clients, right? It dawns on me that I don't know how to fucking deliver. How am I going to get these people results, right? It's all good and well getting the clients, but how are you going to retain them and get them good results? That was hurdle one for me, now, right? Obviously, as I said, I've got these 7 clients, waiting, ready to roll. What do we do? So first things first that I didn't understand was the whole funnel process, the main process of the ads, right? And that every single aspect of the funnel has to be dialed, right? So you've got the front end ad, which is the pretty thing. As I said, people click on it, they see the offer, they see the piece. It might be this white tee, it might be 25% off, it might be buy one, get one free. And they're going to click on this ad, right? They're excited by it. Then, obviously, from clicking on the ad, they're going to go directly through the website. If your website is not dialed, and I mean dialed specifically, you've got good offers, your cart is on page, your font is good, it's all congruent, it's all flowing, the colors all match, simple things. Now that is exactly what I mean by I didn't have these small little kind of reminders or small little things now where I'm like second nature. I did not understand what a good website was. Your ad can only perform as good as your website, right? Let's say you've got a really good creative. Your creative will draw in all the eyes. Your click-through rate, your CTR, probably be sky high, right? Then you get to the website and then they've got that website drop off because the website is not trustworthy. If the website is not trustworthy, how are they going to proceed to buy the product, right? That is the main thing that I did not have down. I didn't really understand what an ad was. Now, insert obviously some pictures of my bad ads. Go on, embarrass me like that. But I didn't understand what a good ad was. Now, here's an example of a good ad. You can see the difference, right? So let's say, for example, you've got product pictures and you've got an on body. What I did not understand was at the time that the creatives need to be product focused. Right? Let's say, for example, if I was selling this white tee, the main and whole thing that you want to see, when you click on the ad, right, is that white tee. And the main thing also is with the good imagery paired, you need to have a good offer. Without a good offer, you're not going to catch their eye. I was doing this, meaty 5-10%. No one's going to care about 5-10%. Make the offer exciting, buy one, get one free. Make the offer something that they don't see every day. They're going to click that ad more than they would a usual ad, right? So running for the first 5 clients at least, I'm telling you, my results were absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. We've got a 1x for us. We've got even less than a 1x for us. How are we doing this? I don't know, but we did it. Now, this was because of not understanding the quality of clientele that you need to work with to get them good results. I'm sitting here and I tell you right now, you're not going to be able to get every single company or brand that you work with results. So you need to check them against a specific criteria before you jump on and start working with them. I was just working with anyone. Someone could have walked past here right now. Yep, said they own a brand. Yep, fuck fuck it, I'll run your ads. Not even checking how much revenue they're on per month, organically, before they've even started running ads. Not checking out any margins, not checking out anything that makes sense, right? You need to have a clear criteria of questions and a clear fit that you're looking for. Don't just accept anybody. That was my biggest mistake. And I was expecting to get, loads of results for these brands with barely any social proof or organic demand for their product, which was a big mistake. Some of the ads worked well, and that was, in God's hands. I'm not going to take, responsibility for that. That was definitely not me. But some of them performed absolutely abysmally, and that was because I was not checking against a clear criteria of what it was I was looking for in a client. One of the most difficult things as well, was making the data-driven decisions when I had those ads turned on. I think I saw the ads spending a little bit too much, and I would get scared. I'd get worried that, they were going to fire me, or I'd get worried that I couldn't deliver. There was a lot of second guessing in my mind, and I would instantly turn off those ads. Instead of turning off those ads, what I should have done is literally just turn off that creative, replace that creative with something that I thought in my mind was going to work better. I didn't understand the process of testing. I just understood shit yourself. When you see it spending too much, turn it off and say it's not working. That is not how testing works. You've got to understand that, to learn what works for this specific client, every client is different. You're going to have to spend on ads. You're going to have to let those ads spend, as uncomfortable as it is. Your client is not going to fire you. And if they do, you don't want to work with them anyway. It's a bad client. And one of the other biggest things that I had trouble with was the outreach side of things, right? I'm not going to lie, guys. I was sending crazy outreach messages. I was sending loads. You don't even want to know the half of it. So I used to cold call, right? Try and do 100 outbound calls a day. I'd be shaking like a shitting dog before I even got anyone on that phone. And I think I was overthinking a lot because I wanted to sign, those clients, right? You can't approach a cold call like that. You can't approach any contact with the person like that. They're just going to be turned off. My biggest take for you guys is to realize that cold calls do not matter. These people don't, they're not going to see your face. The worst anyone can do in this life is say no. If they say no, so what? Do you know what I mean? You're never going to see them again. It does not matter. I think I was really too worried about what they would think, but you have to go into a cold call with a calm approach where you're just a normal person. You've got a bit of banter with them. You're having a bit of a laugh with them, and you stand out. You need to be a pattern interrupt rather than just someone who's, reading off a script. Oh, it's Caitlin. Do you want to double your revenue from my agency? No one wants to hear that. Come onto the call confident, normal, calm. Pretend you're talking to your friend. Obviously have a level of professionalism, right? But pretend you're talking to someone that you're comfortable with, and things will flow way more. Do not be doing what I'm doing, where I'm reading off a script. I'm shaking. I'm scared. You can hear in my voice. This is probably the first 5 cold calls I've done, right? They do not want to know that. They don't want to hear this. They don't. And also, don't speak so quick. Slow it down. Be a normal person. Be relaxed. It's the best take I can give you. That was the biggest mess up that I did on my end, was being so overly stressed. It does not matter if you close the client or not. There is an abundance of clients, and you're going to sign a client as long as everything is dialed for yourself. I don't think I had that mindset. I think I was kind of like, fuck, I want to sign a client so bad. I'm so nervous, all that stuff. Now, obviously, earlier in the video, I spoke about how bad my outreach was. Now, this was my outreach before. No offer, going straight to the point, which was the biggest thing I learned, is that in whatever outreach that you do, you need to have a clear offer. They don't care about false compliments. They don't want to read, a book on War and Peace. They just don't want to read it. They want to know a clear offer of what it is and what you do and the next steps to go from there, right? They don't want to hear, oh, your brand's so fire, this, your product's amazing. They just know it's bull, right? Just get straight to the point with the offer. Straight to the point with what it is that you could do for them. Value-based, outcome-based outreach. Another big thing is you don't want to have the same offer as every single person in this space, right? When you sound like exactly everybody else, you're getting put in a pool full of other people who have no differentiation. Why are they going to choose you out of the other 20 people that are in their DM? They're probably going to be pissed off that they're getting this many DMs. You don't want to be outreaching to people, one, in a niche that's that oversaturated, and two, with people who are going to respond in that way. They're clearly burnt out from having the exact same people say the exact same things in their DM every single day. Bro, I would be burnt out. It's so jarring. Even when I get pitched in my DM now, I get pissed off. So I just feel bad for anyone I've spammed off on DM trying to outreach to. The main thing as well is, consistency within the outreach. You need to have a certain volume. Maybe it's 100 cold calls, maybe it's 50 DMs. Inconsistent outreach equals inconsistent results. That's the main thing I learned. A lot of you guys make excuses. Oh, I've got work, I've got this, I've got that, so I can't do outreach. It's literally clicking buttons on a phone. Don't lie to yourself. You've got a break. You've got when you lay in bed at night. It's about how much you want to send those DMs and how much you want to get the results. Stop lying to yourself. So, obviously, after weeks of getting left undelivered, after a few weeks of trying to run the ads and seeing, the beautiful 1x ROAS that I'm seeing and the abundance of results that just didn't exist, my mindset was absolutely awful. I was worried that moving into paid ads was the wrong decision for me. I remember I was crying on the phone to my mum, bro. I was crying because I had a great organic agency, you know, that was already doing well, and pivoting to a different service that I didn't know was literally like starting again. I feel completely how you feel in your shoes, with the nerves of starting again, with the uncertainty of starting again, and it started to kind of take a toll on me. And I think the main thing for me is I was nervous to step into something that I did not know, right? I didn't know anything about paid ads at the start of time. I never even knew anyone that had run paid ads. Everyone that I dealt with and everyone that I was friends with in the space was literally doing organic, whether that's dropshipping or whether that was, you know, a form of social media marketing. I had never known this before, right? I was so upset because I couldn't get results. It was something that I thought I was just going to jump into and it was going to be so easy. Nothing worth doing comes easy. Obviously, I knew that having run an agency and getting it to a good point before that, but I think stepping into something new after feeling like you're dialed and, you know, you got it down was a bit fucking humbling, guys. I'm not gonna lie, and that's okay. It's okay to jump into something new and not be perfect, not know everything. That's okay. I understood that outreach, you know, value-based outreach was everything. Standing out was everything. Having a good offer that was directly put into the DM from the jump, so they knew what they were getting, was really, really important. I knew exactly what people wanted to hear. You know, when you're pitching this service, it was a no-brainer that you need to be a normal person anyway. But when you don't know kind of the ins and outs of the ads, sometimes it's kind of hard to pitch that. I was pitching this shit not even knowing anything, and I was still fucking landing clients. Like, I don't know how I was doing it. I've got the ability at this point in my life to talk to a brick wall, and I feel like that saved me in 99% of these situations with outreach. All right, so fast forward a little bit now. I had my service delivery down and had a few clients, and I was making, I guess, decent money from, you know, running paid ads. But I felt like things were definitely starting to change. A lot of people were, you know, coming into the space. I was seeing a lot of, you know, flash words of freelance brand scaling and all this stuff, right? And I knew that if I wanted to continue to keep delivering, continue to keep onboarding clients, I needed to differentiate myself. That is the main thing. To differentiate myself, right, what I did was had all the case studies that I've ever used. Yes, I did use my organic case studies. Cut corners? Yeah, maybe. But also mixed in with, you know, my paid results that I did finally get when we learned and change the fucking ROAS from the 1 to operating on a 5, 8x ROAS, 11x. I've even had a 54x ROAS in the first probably, I think, like 4 months of running ads, which I was gassed about. Having those case studies presented professionally changed things. No one was saying no to the pitch. No one was saying no because the proof of concept was there. I also built out a referral system for a lot of the clients that I worked with in the initial stages of my organic agency are still with me to this day, which is absolutely insane to say. And honestly, the biggest thing that I would say I miss and I wish I had was someone just showing me exactly what works and exactly kind of what to do in broken down steps. I feel like that would have saved me so much time, so much trial and error you guys would not believe. But that is exactly why I've started to help people in this space. Be that one-to-one mentor, be the one to kind of be the vehicle to guide them, if that makes sense, to get from A to B without constant guesswork, without questions of, is it going to work, is it not, what do I do? If I get a client, I'm nervous, I don't know how to deliver. I don't want anyone to be in the shoes that I was in. There's a link in the description to a free training. This will break down a few things for you, give you some more information about the business model, and you can see if, you know, this is a business model for you. I've also got the Telegram in the description too. So if you want free game daily and you want to hear my voice yapping into your phone, you know, every single day, description's right here. See you guys in the next video.